to decorate the book when it is not together versus when it is together, but I want to kind of give you an idea of how it goes together. So in your kit, you should have gotten 2 pieces of paper, and I want to share with you what this actually is. So if you do want to make this in the future, this is actually a manila folder, as you can see here, and it has the tab in the middle, and all I did was cut it down the middle, and then I scored it at 4 1/4, I want to say. And then I just folded it, and I'm going to show you how I fold it here in just a minute. And then we put it together. So very, very simple. If you saw my Halloween class or saw it advertised, I used the bigger folder for that one. And then this one is the smaller folder. So it's a very easy design, and you can make these on your own as well. So when you're putting your book together, the first thing I recommend is to get a pencil, which I don't have. This should work. All right, so we want to kind of get the structure of the book together. So your first piece, you're going to have on the right side, you'll have this big tab here. And this essentially is this right here. So when the book lays, you're going to have, for your folds, you're going to have a valley, a peak, and a valley. And it folds this way. So hopefully that makes sense to you. Does everybody understand how the fold goes? You got a valley, a peak, and a valley. And then you're going to end up, so you got your big tab here, and then on the back, you've got a smaller tab here. All right? And then for your second piece, same exact thing. Valley, peak, valley, and you're going to end up with this bigger tab now on the other side, and then the smaller tab is your back piece. And then we're going to glue them together. So what I like to do before I start decorating is I like to kind of just separate these. This is going to get glued together. And just put an X on the pieces that you know you're going to glue, so that way you know when you're decorating, you don't inadvertently decorate something you don't necessarily need to. And that also gives me an idea as I start moving around. It reminds me where my pieces attach. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, rather than put it together, we're going to create some pockets. Now your book has 2 pockets. It has a pocket right here where we're going to put this cute little tag. And then you also get a side pocket right here. Okay. And then finally, you have 3 pockets. You have another pocket that goes right here. So let's go ahead and glue our book together so we can see how our pockets go together. Okay, so working with your first piece, you want to glue this to create a pocket. All right, so this is what's going to get glued. You're going to have an opening at the top, and it's going to get glued on the side and at the bottom. But before you jump in and start gluing, you want to create a thumb notch. Now, this is not necessary, but I always like to create thumb notches, and you can do that with a round punch. Now, I use 1.5 inches. If you don't have 1.5 inches, I think anything for the most part would work. So you're going to want to do that before you actually glue it. It just makes it a little easier. All right. So when you're doing a thumb notch, if you've never done those before, I usually go about halfway down my circle. All right. So let's just make sure that's even here. And then just punch it. And now you have a nice little notch for your pocket. And then the next thing you want to do is Again, this is your front, so you're opening it up to the inside. You want to go ahead and glue your pocket. So when you're gluing your pocket, remember, you don't want to glue the top. All you want to do is glue the sides and the bottom. You already have a crease here, so you do not have to glue that. And you want to get as close to the edge as possible. So that way you're not using up too much of your pocket room. All right. So I'm just adding some liquid glue. And you can use the tape runners if you want to, but I find liquid glue is my preferred choice because it is a little bit forgiving if you do have to make some adjustments on it. Okay. Okay, so there is my very first pocket. I've got my thumb notch, turn the page, and I've got another page here. All right, is everybody good so far?
Yes.
Perfect, okay. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and work on our side pocket right here, okay? So your side pocket, make sure you got it right. You got your valley, peak, valley. Make sure you are lined up correctly. Your side pocket is by gluing these two pieces together. Okay, so it's just essentially attaching your two pieces. But when you attach it, you don't want to glue this side portion because that's going to be your pocket. All you want to glue is your top, your bottom, and of course your side. Okay, and that will create your side pocket. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, and again, I'm trying to get as close to the edge as possible so I have as big of a pocket as I'm able to get. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and put this together. As you can see, I am using my desk just to make sure everything's lined up. And when you're gluing this, don't do what I just did. I put too much glue here. We're going to cover that, so it's not a big deal. But there you go. Okay. And then that will create, of course, your side pocket right there. Okay, and then we're going to have another pocket here. And it's the same thing that I did here, where we're going to do a little notch. And then we're going to glue it. Okay. So again, I'm just using my round circle punch, create my thumb notch, and then we're going to glue it. We don't have to glue here. We just want to glue here and here to be able to put our page together. Okay? And here. All right. And then that should just fold over nicely. And then essentially that's your book. And then if you're using, like I said, if you're using liquid glue, if you need to make any adjustments, the liquid glue is forgiving. So you can just kind of make sure your book is exactly the way you want it. You want your spine to be as straight as possible. I mean, remember, this is homemade, so nothing is ever perfect, but you can get it pretty perfect, pretty close. All right. And then there's your book, essentially. All right. So don't tug on your pockets yet. We're going to want to give them time to dry, of course, but this essentially puts your book together. All right. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to decorate this. Now, in your packet, you had two choices of design paper. You had the traditional vintage, and then I think you had the whimsical. So your paper may not look exactly like mine. I'm using the traditional vintage paper, but the process is exactly the same. So when you're decorating your paper, the first thing you want to do, of course, is you may have to trim it. So these pages, as you can see, they're different sizes. So I left your pages, I think, at larger than the book, I believe. So you may have to trim it. So if you don't have a ruler, you may want to grab a ruler because we're going to do some cutting. Now, the paper that you use on each page is your choice. Keep in mind, this is your journal. So you don't necessarily have to do exactly what I'm doing. If you don't like what I'm doing and you have a better idea, certainly go for it, because this is your book. I'm here to just kind of give you ideas and show you what I do. But certainly if you have a different way that you want to do it. So for instance, if you don't like this red cough drop here, or you don't like the stars here, or perhaps you didn't want to add the pocket here, you wanted to add it somewhere else, you can certainly do that. I'm just going to go ahead and follow my design. Does that sound good? Is everybody good so far?
Yep, everything's good.
Okay, perfect. So again, start getting out your paper, and what you want to do is, if you have a ruler, that's best. The way that I design the paper is I design it, or I cover it, I should say, leaving the tab open, because I find if I try to cover the tab, it gets too busy, and I like to add these little, remnant rubs here to my tabs. So I like to decorate my book just to the edge, not covering the tab. So when you're measuring your book, keep that in mind, that you don't want to measure it all the way to the tab. You want to measure it to just where the tab comes into play. So with mine, what I found for this first page, it was just a little over or a little under, a little over 3.5, a little under 3 3/4. So what I do typically is I'll cut it a little bit big. So I cut it at 3 3/4, and then I just trimmed it, because I like to have a little bit of an edge showing when I add my paper. So that's how I measured it. I always measure it just a little bit bigger to the actual like 1/2 or 3/4 mark, and then I trim what I need. So I'm going to let you guys start trimming your paper, and as we get to the page, I'll tell you what my measurement was. So for my first cover, figure out what paper you want to use. And like I said, my measurement on this was it was right between the 3.5 and 3 3/4. And then all your pages will measure about 5 3/4 tall. So that's the easy part. Now, if you have a corner rounder, I like to round my corners. You don't have to. I don't think I did it on this book particularly, But on some of them, I have, let me see here what I did. So I didn't round my corners here. I did round them on the edges. Some of them are already rounded. I may have done that for you. So, yep, we don't have any corner rounders here. So you can just come straight in. All right. Now, if you have distress ink, so I like to use walnut stain. Another good brown is vintage photo, or just any brown. And then I like to use my blending tool, and I just like to add a little bit of brown to the edges. Again, this is what I like to do. I like to make it look as vintage as possible, but it's absolutely not necessary, or not required, I should say. I think it's necessary, but it's not required. So before you actually glue your paper down, you can add the ink to it. Okay, so I'm going to just start adding my paper. And then, of course, if you want to add the ink to the edges of your book, you can certainly do that as well. You can do it before or after. I know a lot of crafters like to actually do the ink before, but it really doesn't make any difference. I don't think. But whatever you're comfortable with, certainly that's what you want to do. So what I mean about that is, of course, just adding, your distress ink to the edges. Now, do you guys use distress ink? Do you have that in your craft arsenal? Anybody?
I use a lot of the distress oxides.
You do? Good. Okay. And that was Heather?
Yes.
Are you a Tim fan as well?
Oh, yes.
Yes. All right. So that is my first page. And then I'm going to go ahead and flip it over. And it's this, I'm using the same size. So again, the inside page was between 3 3/4 and 3 1/2. And then, of course, the length of it was 5 3/4. So just going to, again, add the ink to my pages. Yeah, with my move this year, I didn't have a chance to buy a lot of his holiday releases because most of my craft supplies have been packed up for the move. So I haven't done a lot of Tim crafting this season, unfortunately. All right. And then once you've got it inked up, you can go ahead and add it to your page. Okay. So this first part is easy, but a little tedious. I have to say my favorite part of creating journals, of course, is adding all of the extra ephemera, all of the extra elements, decorating the book. But of course, we have to make the book look pretty before we can start decorating it. All right, so there is my first page. All right. Now I'm going to go to my second page. Now this page is the page with the pocket, and this one is a little bit bigger. So this one measures between 3 3/4, or excuse me, 4 and what does it measure here? Between 4 1/2 and 4 1/4. So it's it's right in between. So what I would recommend, if you're cutting your paper, cut it at 4 1/2. and then just trim off a little bit so that way you can have a little bit of edging showing. And then of course your length is still the 5 3/4. Yep. All right. Now remember, you have your thumb notch here, so we're going to have to adjust for that. Okay. So there's a lot of ways that you can adjust for this. The easiest way, of course, is to mark it. And I did not bring a pencil, so I'm just going to go ahead and see if I can mark it here. So I'm going to mark where my notch starts. So when I add my notch to this, I kind of have an idea where to line it up. And then for the length of it, to see how far down I'm going to go, you can kind of feel it. I'm just going to kind of estimate here. I'm a big estimator. I'm not an exact crafter, but if you need to be exact, there's just kind of take your time, figure out exactly where that notch comes down to. But if you came into your halfway circle, that should pretty much give you an idea. All right, so we're going to go ahead and line this up with those notches that I just created. And we're going to come about halfway down. And that should work pretty well. Okay. And then where you've cut your notch, you want to again add your ink. The idea of the ink is to cover up any white spaces that might show. And then of course to add a little bit of vintage flair to it. All right. Now, one thing that some people like to do, sometimes I do it, sometimes I don't, is if you don't want this to be, beige, you can easily just get some scrap paper and cut it and put it there. Let's see. So if you have, you've been trimming your paper up, if you want to just get a little piece of scrap, doesn't take very much at all, and you can insert this here so that way it's not, it's not just plain. That's completely up to you if you want to do that. But sometimes people don't like to have the manila showing. And you just want to make sure this is, has enough glue. So when you put it in here, it won't catch your tag. So I'm just going to just slide this right in here. And make sure I'm lined up with my edge. And there you go. All right. Now we can add our paper. So has anybody here taken any classes with me before? Or is this your first one?
I did your Halloween one. I bought that from you afterwards.
Oh, okay.
And I did your the clipboard one from last year. I bought that from you afterwards as well.
Heather, you're in Canada, aren't you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I know who you are.
And then a couple of years ago, you offered the Rusty Rails as a free class for some event, and I did that. That was my very first thing I ever did.
Okay. All right. Yes. Yeah, I don't typically ship internationally, but I've figured out the Canadian prices. So a lot of times it's hard to figure out shipping out of the country.
I appreciate it. It's definitely was worth it for me at least.
I think I'm actually closer to you now because now I'm in Montana. All right. So there is your pocket, and then of course you want to do the other side. And we'll just add some more ink around the edges. Yeah, a lot of my store inventory is still in boxes, so I'm just slowly opening up my shop again. It was a big move. All right. So just take your time when you're doing this. You know, there's no rush, but it does take a minute. And the last page here, which is basically our middle, is our pocket page. So couple things. This is how I did it. So for this page here, again, I just measured to the tab. I left the tab open. So just kind of keep that in mind. Just looking at what I did here. I actually, on this book, let me show you what I did. So I didn't go all the way to the edge on this page. I came to where it starts to tab up. So when you're cutting this page here, which is your pocket page, right? When you're measuring your paper, only measure to this edge, and hopefully that makes sense. Let me show you closer. So when you're measuring your paper, you only want to come to where this little edge is here, because we want to be able to decorate this. So I'm measuring it at about a little over 3 3/4. So I had this paper already cut, but I'm going to trim it a little bit more. And depending on how much of this you want to show, you know, you might want to trim it a little bit more. I'm going to go just a little bit more, actually. Because I want to have room for my remnant rub. And I think that's good. I think you guys are the quietest class I've ever had. Hopefully everybody's following along okay. All right. So again, just edged my paper. And then I'm going to add the glue. All right. Okay. See, this is the kind of journal that you make on if you live in a place where it snows. On a snowy day, you got your Christmas music going on in the background. You got some hot cider, some hot cocoa. Just taking your time. All right. Okay, now for this page here, this is the one that has your side pocket. So I pulled my little thing out. I decorated, this is what I did. So I decorated not only the page, but I also decorated this tab here. Now that's a personal choice. I liked it because I already had a lot of the beige showing for the pocket, and that's why I chose to do that. But again, your journal, your choice. If you don't want to add that little piece of paper there, you know, you don't have to. That's just the way that I ended up doing it. So grab some paper here. So this is going to measure about, where are we at here? Again, between the 3.5 and 3 3/4. How tall am I again? 5 3/4. Okay. It's pretty good. And then I'm going to cut a little piece here to add to the tab. And I want to do the tab first. So I would definitely recommend doing the tab first. You're not going to need much. So I'm going to cut, I don't know, I'm going to cut just, let's see, I'll tell you how much this is. So it's just 1 inch. And we're covering this tab right here. So let's see how long that is. Uh, 3.5. So 1 inch wide and 3.5 long. And I'll show you what I'm doing here in just a minute. Okay, so what we're doing is we're going to cover this tab right here. Okay, now this is where your corner rounders might come in handy. Let's see. Does everybody see what I'm doing here? Got some questions. So Cheryl's asking me why I moved to Montana. That's a good question, Cheryl. We lived in Arizona for a long time, worked in Phoenix, and then when my husband retired, moved up to Prescott, and we were there for about 5 years. And we started, well, we were always into camping and outside things. My husband has motorcycles, he has a boat, and in Prescott, the land is really expensive. So we had a really small garage to park all of our toys, and we couldn't keep our trailer. With us. We had to actually store it in a lot. So when we tried to find a place that had land, it was just so expensive in Prescott. It was just so terrible. So we decided to look a little farther north to, try to find a place that actually enabled us to have a little bit of land. So we were looking, at Utah, we were looking at Idaho, and then we actually started looking in Montana, and then we found a cabin house. It's a log house, I guess is what they call it. So it's more of a retirement plan, I think. I don't plan on retiring for a few years, but that's kind of was our mindset is, we can store all of our motorcycles and all of our toys here. And then when we decide to go on our travel trips with our trailer, we're already up here. So we're close to a lot of camping places. We're close to Yellowstone. So that's kind of where, why we decided to move to Montana. Heather, are you still frozen?
Yeah, the video's not working. I'll leave and come back.
Okay. Is anybody else frozen out there?
Nope, good on here.
Okay, good. All right. Okay. So now I've got, and essentially this is where the book is attached. So this is your second part of your book. And this is where your pocket is. I'm gonna stick this in here. See, that's your pocket. So what I want to do, I know if you want to keep decorating your book, the second part of the book is pretty much the same as the first. You just want to measure it. But I'm going to start decorating the first part of my book because I want to be able to show you some of the things. So we've only been going 42 minutes, so that's great. So we've got plenty of time. But I'm going to go ahead and start decorating the book because I want to kind of jump into some of my other toys here. If everybody's good with that. So if you want to keep decorating your pages, you can certainly start doing that. I'm going to go ahead and start digging into my paper dolls and some of my stickers so we can start decorating. But before I do that, is everybody good? Does anybody have any questions or anything before we jump into decorating? Okay, so you should have gotten a whole thing of paper dolls, if I recall. The kits were mailed out some time ago. I had to get them out before I actually packed up all of my stuff. But you have lots of choices for your little characters. Apparently, I'm going to pull them all out. But you have lots of choices. Now, the choice that I used for my paper doll is this little girl. Parents with the ski, and then this little girl with the doll. I just think she's adorable. But there's some really cute ones in here. So what I would say is just kind of go through your paper dolls and figure out which ones you want to use. I am probably going to go with the same character, maybe. We'll see here. Oh, she's very cute. She might be a choice. She's super cute. I like these parents because they have the little skis and it just looks really wintry. Let's see, what else do we have here? She's cute as well. But yeah, so just dig through your paper dolls and figure out who you want to be as your starring role for your character on your book. Paper dolls are a favorite of mine. I use them on a lot of my designs and a lot of my journals. He's cute too. But they add a great vintage flair. Very cute. I can't decide what I want to use. Maybe I'll use both. Let's see. But that's how I decorated the front of the journal, is with paper dolls. And then for the side here is one of your stickers. So you can cut out your sticker, or you can use something else if you don't like that. But that's what we did for the side. So I'm going to go ahead and just cut out my sticker here. So Heather, it looks like you're not frozen anymore. That's good. So Cheryl, yes, there is quite a difference between Arizona and Montana for the weather. We actually, like I said, we lived in Prescott, Arizona for the last 5 years, which is northern Arizona. A lot of times when people think of Arizona, they think of the cactus, which is true in Phoenix and in Tucson. Not so much in Prescott, though. So we did get some snow, but I would equate Montana more towards the Flagstaff area, but colder. So definitely colder, but I've lived in cold before. All right. So, how's everybody doing? I'm just going to do a check real quick here. Everybody's good. So, yep, good. Okay, perfect. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and decorate the front of my book. I'm going to go ahead and put down my paper doll first, just so I know exactly where my stickers need to go. So in your kit, you should have gotten enough where you can make several more of these journals. Of course, you do need to get your own, manila folder, which hopefully you can find those. And then, of course, paper. You don't necessarily have to use Christmas paper. You can make these journals using other types of paper as well. But you've got lots of paper dolls. I can't decide if I want to use both of them or one of them. I think I'll just use the one. Super cute. And then for my sticker, I did add some ink around the edge. I don't know if you saw that or not, but when you're cutting your sticker, sometimes the white shows through. And And I'm just going to go ahead and stick this here. And then I'll add my little girl. All right. Very cute. Very cute. All right. So there you have it. So now I have two journals here. A little different. I use the same parents, but the little girl is different. It's really cute. And then if you've never used remnant rubs, let me introduce them to you. First, let me ask, has anybody used remnant rubs before? These are remnant rubs. Never used these. Good. Lots of experience with remnant rubs. Sometimes you'd be surprised. Sometimes people, when I show these, they've never seen them before, and they've been around for a while. You should have gotten one sheet. If you have experience with these, then I probably don't need to do too much. But a lot of times I like to cut out the piece that I'm using. I've seen people actually use them on the paper, but to me that's just a little bit too risky. So let's see here. So I'm just cutting out the little remnant rub that I'm going to use for the tab. And this is going to go right here. And in your kit, I should have given you a popsicle stick. I hope I did. If not, any tool really works. These are tweezers I just happen to have on my desk. Tweezers are great because you'll see what I mean here. You can use the remnant rub, you know, one side, and then you can use the tweezer part to actually lift up the paper. And these are just regular bathroom tweezers. I know that there are craft tweezers out there, but you don't need to buy craft tweezers. These work perfect. All right, so there is that. And then, of course, I added the little stars here on top, but we'll come back to that. Okay, so with the second page here, looks like I did add some paper here as well. So let's do that. I'm going to see what I have here. So this is about 3.5 to 3 3/4, something like that. Just start at 3 3/4. Yeah, that'll work. And then I'm going to trim this. On our other piece, we did 1 inch, but I think I'm going to trim it where it doesn't go underneath. Obviously, I've already glued this. So this is about 1/2 inch. So let's go ahead and trim off to make it 1/2 inch. Yeah, that'll fit perfectly. There you go. Okay, so for this second page here, again, this is your cover. This could have done a little bit more trimming. You know what? If your measurement wasn't exact, of course, you got handy dandy scissors. You can just trim. There you go. Perfect. All right. And then for this page here, this is the page where I had a pocket. So let me find my pocket here. So in your kit, you should have this die. It is one of the old Tim Holtz dies. And I glued this here so that way you can put, you know, little ephemera pieces or whatever you want in this little pocket. Okay, so you're just going to add glue around the edge of the die. And then just glue it right down. And then, you know, it goes without saying, you don't want to start adding items to your pocket yet. You want to give it time to dry. But you can certainly decorate it. So you can decorate it with, you know, ephemera pieces. You can put stickers, all sorts of choices for your decorations. You don't have to put anything at all if you don't want to. But I'll leave that up to you, how you choose to decorate it. So I'm just cutting out another sticker here. If you are Tim Holtz fans, I would guess you probably have some of his ephemera. What I love about Tim and his product is his papers and his stickers and his ephemera. They all kind of go together. So if you find a palette, a color theme that works, a lot of times some of his other items will work great as well. I create a lot of my own digitals, and that's how I create a lot of my ephemera to match his stuff. All right, so I'm just going to put this little special here. And then I can put tickets. I could put more stickers in here. There's lots of things you can put in here. So yeah. I might even put a naughty or nice here. Let's see. Like I said, my favorite part of these journals is decorating them. The background paper is a necessity, but the decorating part is the funnest part. So don't be afraid. I know I gave you guys lots of the paper dolls. On this particular one, I went really simple, but on this page, I'm going to add a paper doll, and you can kind of put them towards the edge where you still have lots of room to add your little pieces of ephemera. And he looks kind of naughty to me. That's where I had the idea of using him. He just looks like he's a little character. So I'm going to use this naughty or nice sticker at the top. So just have some fun with your ephemera pieces and your stickers to, you know, add and decorate your pages. There we go. All right. And then, of course, I'm going to add this little guy here. And when you are decorating, some people have told me it's hard for them to layer. You know, like, for instance, I'm going to add this little paper doll here, and he's going to cover part of the sticker. But I think layering is part of the design. You know, when you are layering, the paper's always pretty, and you know, your ephemera is always really pretty as well. But you got to think of it as the final end result. What are you trying to accomplish? So if you have to cover things, you know, don't feel like you're ruining it or you're covering beautiful things, because I think layering is part of the journey. All right. So here is my second page. So I'll stick in a little tickets, little whatnot in here. And then here, if you have, I know I gave you guys remnant rubs, and I think I gave you stickers as well. But, you know, for your little labels here, you can use the remnant rubs. You can use stickers. If you have any of the Tim Holtz stickers, those work really well as well. I think I gave you some of these tickets as well. So you can put your little tickets in here. Maybe he's going to go on the Polar Express. Who knows? All right. And then, like I said, you can put like a remnant rub or something here. Let's see what we're going to put there. Something thin, probably. So maybe this postcard right here, I'll put there. All right. Oh, yeah, I think that looks good. Okay, I lost my tweezers. I don't know about the rest of you, but when I start creating journals and I start having lots of things on my desk, I tend to lose my tools and things that I'm working with. My desk is typically a disaster after I'm done crafting. I'm not sure if anybody else can relate out there. All right. And then you rub it. Once you rub it, it should just come right off. Okay, so that is that page right there. Okay, so now the next page is this one here. Now this is the one that has the tag. Now, in your kit, excuse me, in your kit, I did give you the digital image of a tags that I created. I do have a video out there called, I don't know if you guys saw my video. It's where I made Santa's employee badges. I don't know if you follow me on YouTube or not, but I created Santa's employee badges. And I did this with all of Tim's stamps. And then I created these digital images. And then I had the idea to create a digital kit. And that's what you got here. You got the digital item. But if you do want to check out the video where I actually created this using Tim's stamps, that is out on my YouTube channel. And then that's where this is going to go, is this right here. In your kit, you should have gotten, this little pin back. It doesn't have the pin, but you should have enough to create this tag. You can decorate the tag however you want, of course. You've got stickers and labels and whatnot. And then you have a little tab as well. And then in the back, I just added this button with glue. And then I added the clip to the button. So you can put that together on your own. Hopefully you guys understood what I just said. Does that make sense, this tag? Hopefully. Yep, everybody's good with the tag? Okay, very good. Okay, so if you don't want to use the one in the kit, like I said, you can check out my video. And if you have the Tim Holtz stamps, this is what I created this with on my video, with the Tim Holtz stamps. Of course, I couldn't give you the Tim Holtz stamps in the kit, so I had to give you a digital set. All right, so that's what goes in that pocket. And then the vintage slides. These are actual vintage slides that I gave you in your kit. So we're going to work with those next. I did give you some vintage items in your kit. So hopefully you guys like vintage items. I gave you some of these authentic S&H stamps that are always reminiscent of Christmas. And these can go in your pockets as well. Lots of fun things. Let's see if we can fit this in here. The photos made you laugh? Yes, lots of fun. All right, so I just keep decorating my little pocket here as we go along because I love adding the decoration. All right, so I did give you a couple of slides that you can add here. The way that I decorated these is I just pop these out. Okay, and then I cut the slide here so we can use it in our decoration. Okay. So just adding a little bit of glue to the edge. Okay. Just like that. Okay. And then you're going to want to get some of your paper. You should have extra on your paper. Just figure out how much you need. let's see here. I'm just going to estimate here, and then I'll tell you what I used. Okay. All right, so this is too big. Let me cut this down a bit. All right, so this is 2 by, you could probably do 2 by 2. This one is actually 2 by 1 3/4. But basically what you want to do is you want to, see, that's even a little bit too big. You want to be able to just have enough to cover the background. If you don't want to cover the background, you can, of course, cover the front as well. For this particular one, I used Tim's squares, and I added it to the top, but I want more of this vintage word to show. So I'm going to actually put it in the background. But that, again, that's a design choice. It's completely up to you how you want to do that. I just want to have more of the vintage Kodachrome transparency, some of the words showing. So that's just a design choice. I think that the slides that I gave you were from different lots. So your words might be a little different than what I'm using here. So do you guys craft or create books with authentic vintage ephemera? Have you ever done that before, or do you just pretty much stick to the scrapbook paper? I know a lot of people don't have authentic vintage items. So in my kits, I always try to give you some authentic vintage. I just think it's fun to be able to play with. So Tim's stuff mainly, yeah. And his stuff definitely is the vintage inspired. Thea says she just been into card making about 30 years, and you just got into the vintage materials. Yes. And Cheryl, you try to repurpose as well. Excellent. Yeah, me too. I love using some of the vintage items, things that people typically will throw out. I think they are very fun to create with. So good. But yeah, in my kits, I typically try to give you guys some authentic vintage items. And a lot of the stuff that I give you is stuff I have in my shop. So I just purpose it, pull it out from my inventory for my kids. All right. Okay. So I'm just, once I have it, the paper in the background, and I added my walnut stain, I'm going to go ahead and glue it onto my book. And then I'm going to work on my second one. Now remember, we are putting another sticker here. So when you start, don't get too ambitious and glue down your slides without taking into consideration that you are going to have a sticker here. So just be mindful. Sometimes we jump in and start gluing things down without remembering exactly what stickers we might be using. So on this page here, I'm using my icicle sticker. So when I glue this second one down, you just want to be mindful of where that goes. All right. Hey, Jean, glad to have you here. So yeah, I'm in Montana, which is mountain time. But you should have gotten some notifications. I'm so sorry that you're late though, but I do have the video recorded, so everybody will get the recording once we're done here. All right. Okay, so I am adding my walnut stain to my edging, and then I'll add some more paper here. Let's see. Oh, that's perfect. Yep. So when I lived in Arizona, I know Arizona doesn't do the the daylight savings. I think I would have still been 2 hours. But yeah, like I said, you should have gotten some notifications. But you can still play along. Like I said, I'm going to have a recorded video for you at the end of this. All right, so the paper that I'm using, Jean, is called Vintage Christmas. In my kit, you had 2 choices. You had the Whimsical Christmas and you had the Vintage Christmas. So depending on what kit you ordered, is what you would have to play with. I went with the traditional vintage. And then these slides were part of the kit as well. And I'm just adding paper to them. For the background. All right, so Jean, okay, you're working with the Whimsical. Yes, a lot of people loved that Whimsical. It was very cute. That's for sure. All right. Okay, so now that we have our slides in place, in my original book, I used the little paper dolls. I know the paper dolls that I gave you in your kit might be a little bit bigger. You may be able to find some that work. Like this little girl would be perfect, I think. I mean, even the bigger girl, but just dig through your paper dolls and see what would work. So Jeannie, are you asking me, was there a paper for that? So you had a choice of vintage or whimsical. And I know some of it sold out quicker than the other. So, yeah, when the kit went out, you had a choice. So, all right. So I think these little girls are cute. So yeah, just go dig through your paper dolls and figure out, you know, what character you want to use. Maybe you don't even want to use the character there, right? Maybe you want to put a sticker or put something else there. I'm going to go ahead and use the paper dolls. So I'm just kind of digging through to see what I have. If you have the, see, this would be good too. If you have the smaller paper dolls that Tim Holtz has, those would work perfectly. I gave you the Christmas set, and I think they're a little bit bigger than the minis. But yeah, just dig through it, see what will work for you. Oh, this is a really good one for the front cover. If you guys haven't done your front cover yet, look at this one. This one already has the family. And it has the baby and the little boy. So Gina, you're saying you signed up for the whimsical but didn't get paper in my package. You didn't get any paper in your kit? That doesn't make any sense. All right. So email me after the class, Jeannie. I don't think I have any of the whimsical left, but I can certainly give you the vintage Christmas. I'm not sure what happened with that, but I'll make it right for you. I'm surprised you didn't get any paper. But okay, we can fix that. All right, so just trying to figure out what I'm going to do here. So yeah, I can easily okay, yeah, Jeannie, after the class, we'll figure it out and I'll get you what you need. Okay, so for these here, now, before I get too far ahead of myself, I want to add to these little slides. I want to add to the little slides some of these little remnant rubs. So before you actually glue down your paper dolls, figure out exactly what you want to have on your slides. So for instance, it's handled with care. Will fit perfectly on one of the slides. And I'll just put that right there, and that'll work perfectly. Okay. And I actually have some remnant rubs. If you have other remnant rubs, I know that you said that you guys are familiar with Tim's remnant rubs. He has that, the postal one also that's out there. And I had a few of these sitting on my desk, so I'm just going to add them. So mix and match what you have. But like I said, a lot of Tim's stuff works really well together. All right. And then, let's see. Also in your kit, you should have gotten some stickers here that look like postage stamps. And you can also add those to the background if you want to. So Jeannie asked if I ever color my paper dolls. Yep, I sure do. I have some videos out there on my YouTube channel where I've actually painted my paper dolls. I use distress crayons and water to color my paper dolls. So I'm going to add this stamp here just to the background. All right. And again, we're layering, so I know many people have stress about covering layers, but just keep in mind you just want it to be part of the background. Let's see. There we go. Something like that. Trying to figure out how I want this stamp to look. Maybe I'll do it. I don't know if I want it so. Let's see. Something like that, maybe. Something like that. That'll work. I don't know if I like that actually. So yeah, just play with your maybe I'll do that. Play with your stickers and your different ephemera pieces to figure out what you like. As you can see, I couldn't make up my mind about this one. I ended up putting it right in the middle. And then I'll just glue down my paper dolls.
What's the matter, little kitty? Yeah.
So I'm going to go there. And then this little girl will go here. And even though my paper dolls are, or excuse me, my slides are a little bit off kilt, I am putting my paper dolls straight. So, Jean, if you aren't familiar with my YouTube channel, I do use a lot of Tim Holtz products in my videos. So definitely check those out. I work with paper dolls, remnant rubs, all of his ephemera. So I have lots of videos using his stuff. I also have, I don't know if you're aware that I also have Sunday afternoon crafting where I go live on YouTube and we create cards live. And that's just an opportunity for me to chat with you and create live. I don't have any more classes planned yet. One of the classes I'm thinking about is a vintage detective journal. So I'm kind of thinking about that. I haven't created it yet. A lot of my planning first starts in my head, and I kind of put it to paper. The Sunday afternoon crafting is at 3 o'clock Mountain Time. And if you follow me on my YouTube channel, you should get a notification if you have the bell marked. I don't have the one set up for tomorrow yet, but I'll get it set up. So again, I'm just working with the remnant rubs, adding some of the remnant rubs to the slides. Okay, and that is that page. So we've got our icicles, we've got our slides here, and then we added a couple of the paper dolls. All right. And then, of course, the tag that we were just sharing a few minutes ago, which is around here somewhere. I'll find it in a minute. All right, so as you can see, as you start adding items to your book, it will get a little bit thick, but it should be fine. It just, you know, when you have it here, it's gonna get thicker and thicker. So just be mindful of that. All right. So the next page is this page here, and this is where I created a belly band, and you could stick your little file card here, and then you can just decorate this page however you want to. So let's go ahead and work on that. I'll try to clean up as I go here. All right, so you're going to want to create, well, before I get too ahead of myself, how's everybody doing? Does anybody have any questions where we're at this point? It's going great. Okay, good, Heather, you're good. Just kind of doing a check-in. All right, and then as a reminder, your tag that you're going to create will go right here. All right. So this page again has the belly band. So you just want to get a strip of paper that is, I don't know, about 1 1/4, I guess. But you know, you choose how wide you want it. Mine was 1 1/4. And your length is going to be the length, of course, of your paper, which is about 5 3/4. So just cut out your belly band. And then once you've got it cut out, just go ahead and add, you know, your ink to the edge. And then when you glue it, of course, you're going to just add glue to the edge because you want to be able to put your file folder in here. All right. So adding my belly band. And it's, gosh, it's just about, I don't know, a 1/2 inch off of the edge. You could go a little closer if you want to. Just kind of eyeball it, see what works for you. And then before you put your file folder in here, you want to let this dry. Now you can decorate this. On my original prototype, I did not, but you can certainly decorate it with some of the stickers that are in your kit. You can add paper dolls. In your paper dolls, you also got some photos. You know, if you wanted to do something with those, there's a lot of options for your file folder. So just, you know, feel free to decorate that as you wish. So once you get your belly band in there, you can of course add your file folder, and then if you want to decorate it up, you can certainly do that. On my original file, or my folder I should say, I did put a sticker here. I don't know if I gave you that one. Let me see what we got here. Yeah, I didn't particularly give you that one. I think I might actually use either the bells or the stockings though. But yeah, one of those would work great, I think. Let's see what we got here. I think the bells would be nice. So let's go ahead and add another sticker here. So like I said, you have lots of choices in creating this journal. And if you do want to create more of these journals, but you don't have the stickers, I do have these holiday stickers in the shop. I think all of my digitals are 50% off right now. I think through the end of the month. But in any case, if you need Christmas labels or any of these Christmas stickers, I did put these in the shop. So if you wanted to get more, you could. So that's an option. All right, so 5 3/4. All right, so yeah, so if you trim down your bell sticker, it should fit nicely on your belly band. Yeah, just like that. Yeah, I think that looks great. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and add this to the belly band. Okay, if I can get this sticker off. All right. And let's see here. I cut it so it should fit from edge to edge, if I measured correctly. Yep, pretty good. Okay, so that's how I'm decorating my belly band. Of course, like I said, you know, you can use whatever stickers you want to decorate. And then this will go here. I'll probably add more paper dolls. I'm not sure exactly what I'm going to do yet, but I think you know, more paper dolls would be really cute on this, or you can, you know, of course, do something inside as well. But for right now, I'm just going to leave this as it is. All right, and then we're going to move to this page here. So on this page here, I did use a paper doll. I'm going to go ahead and do some background layering on this one. So let's pick out another paper doll that we can use. Let's see. Maybe use them. Or you can use the little kids. Got lots of choices, which is nice. Holiday greetings. So I'm going to stick the holiday greetings here. And then I'm going to add more right there as well. Let's see. So now on my original one, I did a sparkling tinsel here, so you could certainly do that. I think I'm going to add black and white though, because this is pretty light and I can get away with using black and white. But again, you've got lots of choices for how you want to decorate it. So, you know, kind of sift through what you have and don't get too ahead of yourself. You know, be specific about what you use, you know, so look through everything. You don't necessarily have to use what I'm using. I'm just giving you ideas of what I'm using, but definitely look through all your stickers, look through all your remnant rubs, and, you know, work with what works for you. Oh, God bless you. Okay, so put that there, and then we'll put this holiday greetings right here. So has anybody ever made journal books before, or is this your first journal book that you're making? I've made a few in my lifetime. I really enjoy making them. Sophia, it's new for you. Well, hopefully you're enjoying creating a journal book. They can be a lot of fun to decorate. I really enjoy the process of decorating books. And once you actually do your first one, hopefully you'll do more, get comfortable with the process. Jeannie, you make them on occasion. And Cheryl, you've made several. So you're an old pro at this. Good for you.
Yeah.
Cheryl, do you give away your books or do you keep them all for yourself? Give them away? Yeah, I know a lot of people love getting journal books, that's for sure. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and glue down my paper dolls. Okay. All right, so there are my paper dolls. Now, I think I'm going to add a little pop of red on the top here. So in your stickers, you've got some special delivery labels in there, and I'm going to use one of mine. Okay. So let's put this special delivery just right here. So Cheryl said that lately she's been doing abandoned art, leaving crafted items anonymously in places for people to find and take. Oh, that's awesome. I would love to see the reaction, though. I mean, you leave it, but then you never. Oh, that is really cool. I've heard of that, but I've never known anybody to actually do it. That's really cool. Okay, so this is this page, and then of course, if you want to put something here, we're going to definitely do that. I've got, this is what I did on my original one, and I think that's what I'm going to do. But you've got lots of choices in this tab. So mailed would work great. The North Pole would work well. Postal telegram. I kind of like the mailed. I think I'll do the mailed on this one, actually. Okay. Let me just get this off here. That looks good. Let's see if something will fit underneath. Stamp here. I think I'll leave that. All right. So that's this page. So now that we've got, this page was our belly band. And then I decorated this with a couple of paper dolls and some remnant rubs and a sticker. All right. So this next page is where our insert will go. Okay. And this is the page that has the envelope. Now, inside of your kit, if I can find it, you should have gotten an envelope, just like this one here. Let me see if I can find mine here on my desk. Oh, there it is. All right. So here's my envelope. And this is going to go right here. So when you're placing your envelope, keep in mind, you know, it's, if you do it, cattywampus, I love that word. If you want to do it kind of diagonal-ish, you're going to have to go over on the tag a bit, on the tab here. So just kind of keep that in mind. But you can definitely position it where it doesn't have to be straight. Now, if you want it straight, you can certainly do it straight. It does fit perfectly. But I always like to do mine a little bit diagonal. So let's glue this down, and then we'll put our remnant rubs. So let's see here. Now, if you don't want white here, kind of that little trick we did a few minutes ago or a little while ago, you can stick kind of like an envelope liner in here, just by trimming, you know, just by trimming some paper. It doesn't take much. Just figure out your width of your envelope. And then you can, you know, have an envelope liner, essentially. And then just add a little bit of glue. It doesn't take a lot. Just, you know, to keep that liner in place. And then, of course, you want to get your, you know, your vintage photo or your walnut stain, whatever ink you're using, to edge up the outside of your envelope. And then you're ready to glue it down. So we are at 1 hour and 50 minutes. I think we're making really good time here. All right, so I'm going to just position my envelope here. And I'm pushing it down to kind of give it a minute to dry. Now, in the envelope, I think on my original design, I added photos. So you've got all sorts of Christmas photos in your paper dolls. So you're probably going to need to trim it down a bit in order to make it fit. But I think they'll fit in there. So just, I used that one for that. If you don't want to put paper in there, I know I gave you guys ephemera pieces. So if you wanted to, you know, put extra stickers in there, really whatever you want to do with this pocket is up to you. So just got lots of options with that. Now for the tab here, let me pull this out. I'm going to add some more ink to the edges. So Cheryl, are you going to keep this journal or are you giving it away? You said you give away your journals. Okay, so postcard. Let's see what can fit here. Parcel post. Probably give it away. The joy is in the creating of it, right?
Okay.
Yeah. A lot of my journals I either sell or I keep because that way I have examples if I want to do classes in the future. Bless you. Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out what I'm going to put here. On my original one, I think I stamped postcard, but parcel post would fit. I think this North Pole is really cute. Let's see what we can do here. I might be able to fit. It might be a little too thick. Postal telegraph. That might fit. So I've got a small edge here that I'm trying to fit my postal telegram. I think it'll fit, but I just gotta get it just right. All right, it's pretty good. So many choices on what to use. Yeah, I get it, Cheryl. In my move, I used to have a pretty big craft room. The move here to Arizona, or excuse me, where did I move to? Montana. My house got bigger, but my craft room got smaller. So I'm having to make some choices. I do have some storage areas, so I'll be able to keep everything. I just have to have it a little bit more spread out now, which is fine. I'll make it work. Let's see here. Trying to decide what will go where. Let's see. Merry Christmas. All right. Okay. So just again using more of my remnant rubs to add them to my tabs. Okay. And I need to put something here. Let's see what will fit. Could use a sticker. Maybe I'll use a special delivery. No, I think I'll keep it black and white. Okay, and then for your tab, all this is it's about 3 3/4 by 5. And all I did is I just took 2 pieces of paper and I glued them together. If you want it to be a little bit more sturdy, you might want to put some white cardstock in between there. And then create a little tab to pull out. I'm not sure if I included any of those, but these are real easy to create. And then you can have a little pull-out tab for your pocket here. And of course, you know, you want to decorate it up with paper dolls or stickers or whatever you might have. And that's your insert right there. Okay, so let's work on this piece here. So we haven't decorated these last 3 pages, but we have plenty of time, so we're going to go ahead and jump to it. So the last 3 pages, let me share with you what they are. So this one here is a pocket page, and then we have another pull-out tag for your thumb pocket, your thumb notch pocket. This one is a little bit thick, so keep that in mind. Test your paper. I think I added the extra paper in this one, but you may not need extra paper on this one because it's a little bit thick. It fits. And then this page here, you're going to have a little peekaboo pocket, which we're going to create right here. Peekaboo pocket. And then, of course, this is the one I sent you all the link to the video to create this pocket. You're going to need 12 by 12 paper. And it's just a pocket where you can add tags or whatever you want. If you don't want to create this pocket and add it to the back page, you can just decorate the page. It's completely up to you how you want to finish off the journal. But that's what I did on this one. So I didn't give you a 12 by 12 piece of paper because it wouldn't have fit in your kit. But I'm sure a lot of you have 12 by 12 paper. And I linked the video so you can create this little pocket. And then, of course, we decorated the back as well. So that's what we're going to do next. So for this, but before I get ahead of myself, is everybody good so far? Any questions? Anything you want me to repeat? Just doing a check-in here to see how we're all doing. Heather's good. Okay. Good. Thea, Cheryl, you guys still good? Jeannie? Everybody, okay, everybody's good. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to this page here. Again, this is another thumb notch page, so you're going to have to figure out your little thumb notch here when you're adding your paper. So let's do that now. Let's see what I got. Let's see what I got to play with here. I'll use this. This kind of matches that. I think I'll do this side here. All right. So my paper is four and a little bit more than 4 in between 4 3/4 and 4 1/2 is where it's at. Let me see. Maybe I'll use a different paper. Maybe I use poinsettia. And we said this was a little less than 4.5. Now remember, this is a pocket page, so you want to find paper that's going to coordinate well together. Most of your paper is going to work, so you shouldn't have any problem. But just kind of keep that in mind. Your pocket is about 2.5, about 2 3/4 wide. But if you want it to be smaller, you can certainly do that. Let's start with 2 3/4. I'm going to make it a little bit smaller than that. I just realized that's the paper there. I don't know if I want to do that actually. I don't necessarily want the same paper back to back, so let me pick another one. It's my peekaboo pocket right there. Okay. All right. So for your pockets, I'm sure you've glued pockets before. You just want to make sure you leave the top open, unglued, right? And then just add glue to your sides and your bottom. Okay. And I like to add the pocket first. So if my measurements were a little bit off, I can still trim it after I've got it glued. And then I like to put a little band here. There's a few ways you can do that. You can just add some contrasting paper, you know, to make a little band. Or you can use some of the stickers that I included. I think some of them would be long enough to be able to do a band. Naughty or Nice would be really cute here. Let's do that. Stockings would be really cute too. Let me see if stockings would fit. I don't think that the stockings are wide enough. Or yeah. It would be cute though. Let's take a look at that. So the stockings aren't quite wide enough, but I still think it would be a cute decoration. So rather than do the band across here, I might just add the stockings. Alternatively, if you do want to use the band, your kit should have a Merry Christmas die that you can add. So you've got a couple of design choices here that you can make. You can go with the Merry Christmas. You can add the stockings. You can add the naughty or nice. There's a few ways you could actually go here. So I'm going to go ahead and just measure out my thumb notch here. Okay. I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet for my decorating my pocket, but I'll figure that out in a minute. Okay. Good, Jeannie. So yeah, you'll have the replay when you actually go to put your journal together. So I'm glad that you're getting some good ideas. All right, so there's that. And then, like I said, for the actual photo that goes inside, you may have to trim it up just a bit. Maybe not, right? But I'm going to trim mine up just a bit. It's got a big border, which is great because you can add remnant rubs to them if you wanted to. I think in some of Tim's videos, he said why he leaves such big borders. I can't remember specifically, but I did trim mine down a bit. I might trim it down even a little bit more, but I think that's okay for right now. And then, of course, you're going to have another tag in here or a pull that you can decorate. So I'll let you do that on your own. That's just another pocket right there. And let's see. I'm just looking for my Merry Christmas. So yeah, so for my pocket, I don't think I'm going to use the the Merry Christmas die because I chose darker paper and the black doesn't show up very well. But if you, depending on what color paper you use for your pocket, you can add your Merry Christmas die to it. I think I'm going to go with the stockings. That'll go right there. So. I think what I might do is like what I was saying about creating like a band. I think I'm going to add this extra band here. It kind of matches that paper there. It would have been smart to do it before I glued it down, but we'll make it work. just as a decorative piece to break up the darker color. And there's a couple ways you can go. You can put it all the way up against the edge if you wanted to. I put it below the edge. And then I'm going to add these stockings right here. That way the stocking sticker doesn't look like it's just hanging out by itself. It's got a little border here. And I think that seems to work. All right, so that is your pull tags here. You got a pull pocket here, and then of course you got one here. When you create this, it's about 3.5 by 5, and then you can add, you know, decor to it. Of course, you can add paper dolls, whatever you want to do to decorate your pull tab. Okay, all right. Moving forward. I think this looks too plain though, actually. Let's do something here first. I have those Christmas stamp stickers that I gave you. I think I'm going to add some Christmas stamps here. And as you're moving along, you know, if you decide that your pages need more, you can always come back after the fact, of course, and add more stickers or remnant rubs, whatever you think needs to be added. Let's see. I'm going to add both. So we'll do, let's see. Maybe something like that. So I think I'm just going to add these remnant rubs right here, just as extra background. Just, I see there's a question there. I'll get right to it. All right. So Jeannie is asking, how do you decide which edge of the file folder becomes your first section? Okay, yeah. So let me go through that with you. So you're going to go in the beginning of the video, Jeannie. You'll be able to see how I described it. So you're going to have 2 pieces. It's going to be valley, peak, valley, peak. And then for your first portion, you have this long tab here. Okay. And then the back part, you're going to have the small tab. And then this is where you glue it. Again, you go valley, peak, valley, right, yeah. Valley, peak, valley, peak. I think that's how it was. And then your back tab has this small one. So when you rewatch the video, you'll be able to see how they go together. But just looking at it, you're going to want this long side here first, and then your back page is this smaller tab, and then this is where they glue together to make your your side pocket. Hopefully that makes sense. Do you always do the same? For these journal books, I did. I did an asylum book for Halloween. I don't even know where it's at. And it was a bigger file folder. And I used the same setup. I mean, you can try different setups. Like I said, a lot of this is just, playing with it, seeing what works. But that's how I put my journal book together. I wanted my tabs to be a certain way. So that's why I did the design this way. So Jeannie, you were in the asylum class. No, that was a fun journal, wasn't it? After that class is when I packed up my my craft room. So I don't even know where that book is. Right there, I guess. All right. So yeah, I'm using the little sticker postage stamps to decorate my envelope. And then, of course, like I said, you can stick, if you cut these down, you can stick some of the photos in here. You can stick paper dolls in here if you wanted to. You can do whatever you want with that little pocket. Little paper doll presents coming out of there. If you wanted to, you can create little note cards. I mean, if you're going to give this as a gift, this actually would be a cute idea. You can create a little note card to go in here, and then you can, write a little message to somebody. That would be really cute. So yeah, lots of options with this envelope. You don't necessarily have to stick a photo in there. Especially, like I said, some of you like to give these away as gifts. So maybe that's the perfect spot for your little note, right? Your little Merry Christmas note to somebody. It could be a very, very nice keepsake for somebody. Okay, and I am might come back and add more to that, but you all get the idea. All right, so the last two pages here, other than the back is just basically decorated with paper, and then I added, a little remnant rubber here. But these two pages here are these. So this is where you have your peekaboo. Where are we at? Good with time. Your peekaboo window. And then, of course, the last page is where I shared with you the video on how I put together this envelope. So let's do that. So the last page essentially is just going to be paper, and then you're going to add your envelope, right? And then you should, in your kit, you should have gotten a peekaboo window here. That's going to go on this page. But let's first add some paper to this. So let's find some paper that will work. Because again, you're going to have contrasting paper here. Find paper that kind of works together, right? You don't want to have paper that's going to have too much contrast. Most of the paper should work together. But just before you get overzealous and start gluing, put your paper together and make sure it works. All right, so it's about 4.5 wide. So let's figure this out. Okay. Okay, so, yep, so I've got this measured out, and we want to add, you know, our walnut stain, vintage photo, whatever we're using for our paper. Okay, and then we're going to just glue this down. Okay. All right. And then for your peekaboo window, don't get ahead of yourself, because we need to add our background. So for the background, you want to, get your paper doll, which is a bigger one. This is one of the bigger ones. And then if you want to do any background to your paper, you don't have to, because you have, your decorative paper here. So you don't have to create background paper if you don't want to, but certainly it is an option. So let me dig through my bigger paper dolls here. She's so cute. Okay, here they are. So for these Christmas books, I don't know, it's just me maybe. I like to use children images. I know I did use some parent images, but I really love using the little children images. They're just very cute. So that's what I'm going to look for. I'm not sure what I gave you in your kit. Certainly an adult image would work perfectly. But I have a whole package here. So let's see what I got. They don't even have any little kids. So I might end up using an adult image. Let's see what I've got here. Maybe this little boy. That might be cute. All right, so so the first thing I'm going to do is glue this down. So figure out, how much of your character you want to show. Maybe you don't want his whole body to show. I'm going to show as much as I can on him. So I'm going to pretty much just add glue to the bottom here and have him show as much as possible. Okay. And then if you want to add any background paper, You can do it before or after, depending on what you're adding. So I have, we have the special delivery that we could use. There's all sorts of stickers you could use. We've got the stamps. I have some stickers of my own that have 25, so I think I might use one of those in mine. If you have any ephemera of your own that you want to use, you can certainly add to it, or just leave it blank. You have your designer paper in the background, so you don't necessarily have to add stickers, but it's certainly a designing option. See, it might not even show if I do that. So it's definitely just going to be as, see, I don't even know if I'm going to do that once I have it down there. I might not even just do anything at all. I might just do, contrasting paper, to be honest. So let's see here. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to do. So I have, in my paper stack, I had this where it said like postal, and it kind of looked like a letter in the background. So I think that's what I'm going to use. And then I'll add the special delivery. So lots of different choices for your background, or none at all. And then once you've got your peekaboo pocket ready to go, just add your glue to add it to your page.
Yeah.
And then in your kit, you should have gotten a plaque. Hopefully, I know that there was some snowflakes in there as well. Different design elements that you can use. So you kind of dig through what you got, figure out what you want to use. I'm seeing what I have here. And then you can add it if you want to. Now, I can't remember if I added these little clips to your packet, but if I did, and you want to use it, make sure you get it underneath here before your glue sets, if you want to use that clip. I can't remember if I added them to the kit or not. And then I'm just adding more stickers to the background before I completely glue down my character. I don't like to always glue him down in the beginning because sometimes I come up with layering ideas after the fact. So it's nice to, to be able to lift that up, to be able to add more items underneath. But, completely up to you. And we are almost done here. Okay. And then I'll just add a little bit of glue to secure my paper doll here. Okay, just adding more remnant rubs to the outside of the frame. And let's see. I put the Dear Santa up there. Okay. All right, and then that is your peekaboo page, peekaboo pocket. Did anybody have any questions on that particular page? I know there is kind of a lot to it, but hopefully you guys are able to follow along once you figure out how it works, right? That is an old die that I've had that I added to the kit. Hopefully everybody was good with that page. And then the last 2 pages, like I said, are just going to be decorated with paper, and then we'll do like a remnant rub or something here, because you're going to have your pocket that you're going to make there. And then the back page is just paper. So let's just finish that up. Let's see. Trying to decide what remnant rubs I'm going to use here. All right, so for the paper, let's see, I don't think I've used Christmas tree. Okay, so let's figure out how much we need here. So for this last page, it's about, again, in between 4 1/4 and 4 1/2. All right. Okay, so add in my paper, and then I'll add my remnant rub right here. And then, of course, like I said, your pocket will go here if you choose to do that. And then your back page is just decorative paper. So let's do that. And by the time you're done, your book is is pretty fat. It's a lot of things that we've added to it. But it's fun. I know when I first made my very first journal, it wasn't quite so thick. But as I've gotten more comfortable with journal making, I've gotten a little bit more comfortable with my book not closing completely, because it's fun to add elements to it. I think we're used to books, being able to close flat, but with junk journals and with journal books, that's not necessarily the norm. I think the fatter it is and the more items you have in your book, the better. Just lots more to look at. And of course, in my opinion, the grungier, the better. Should have done this before I glued it.
Got it in there.
There we go. And then we'll get our final remnant rub here. Let's see. Or you could use, a sticker if you'd like. I think I'm going to use a remnant rub though. There we go. I always feel such a sense of satisfaction when I complete my books. And I know, Cheryl, you said that you give away a lot of your books, but I'm sure after it's completed, you just enjoy it for a bit, don't you? I hope so. Because I love looking back through everything I've added. Because creating a journal is a process. And it doesn't always happen in a day. Sometimes it happens, over time. And I think sometimes we forget what we've added to our books. So it's always fun to be able to go back and look through it. And then all I'm doing now is I'm just adding more of my walnut stain to the edge. Adding it to, the back. And then, when you're done, when you're finished, if you feel like you need to, I've done this before where I've added binder clips to the book. You should be good, but if you are concerned about it not holding, I've added binder clips before and let it stay overnight. I'm pretty secure here, so I think I'm fine. But that's it, you guys. That's the book. So I'm going to go ahead and walk through it really quickly here. Not too quickly. And then if you guys have any questions for me or if we need to repeat anything, we can certainly do that. All right, so here's our front page. And I have the Red Star cough drops along with the little paper dolls. And of course, we had remnant rubs throughout. You open it up, you've got your little, what is this called? Your pocket, I guess, your pockets where you can put all sorts of fun little ephemera pieces if you want. I did give you guys things that you could add to your pockets, so certainly dig through your goodies and see what you can use. This page here is the pocket where you're going to add your tag. And we have our vintage slides where we added our little paper dolls. I have a sticker here that I added. Turning the page, this is our belly band. Again, you can decorate your little filing cabinet if you want to. You can add, paper dolls to the inside. There's a lot you can do with that. You can also write a little note in here if you wanted to. I know that you said that you were giving, some of you might be giving these away as gifts. This is another little nice note that you could include in your journal if you're giving it away to somebody. This page here has more paper dolls. I added some of the stickers and remnant rubs. And then this page here is where you can add a pull-out tab. And then we have a little envelope here that you can add items to if you want to. You can also do a little note here as well.
Are you talking or fighting?
If you wanted to. So you can add a little note here if you wanted to do that. This is your pocket page where you can cut down some of the photos that you got. There are a lot of photos in your paper dolls bag. So you can even add a couple of them here if you wanted to. But this is a cute little pocket to add photos. Maybe you have a family photo you want to stick in there. That would be fun as well. You've got another pocket here. You can decorate up a page. Turning it again. This is your peekaboo window where we added a bigger paper doll, and then I added some background remnant rubs, a sticker, and then a little quote. And then finally, the last page we left open for you to create this pocket tag. I'm not sure exactly what it's called. Pocket journal page. I did send you the link. When I send you the link for this video, I'll include that video again as well, so you can make that on your own. And then finally, we decorated the back of the book. So that's it. Does anybody have any questions or anything we need to go over? Hopefully you guys have enjoyed the class. You've been awfully quiet, and I'm just telling myself that's because you guys have been busy little bees working in the background. So I hope that you've enjoyed the class. Just going to kind of hang out here a minute to see if there are any questions. Heather, you've been working very hard. I'm so glad to hear that. Cheryl, good stuff. This has been fun. Good. I'm glad that you've enjoyed it. Yeah, absolutely, Thea. I'm not sure what I have planned for next year. Like I said, I don't have anything in the works right now, other than I'm thinking about doing a vintage, I have some old prisoner photos of Alcatraz, and then I have some old photos like Sherlock Holmes kind of types. So I'm thinking about doing like a vintage book like that, but I haven't got it together yet. So I'm hoping to maybe get that out in the spring. If you're not on my mailing list yet, make sure you go to the website, Taylormadecards4u.com. Sign up for my mailing list. You should be on my mailing list, hopefully. If not, make sure you do that. I do Friday freebies where I give away free digital images. And then also that's where I notify everybody of my new classes with my my weekly newsletters. So if you're not registered for that, make sure that you sign up. And if nobody has any other questions, I just want to thank you for participating in my class. Hopefully, like I said, you've enjoyed it. One of my quieter classes, but I'm sure that you guys are just busy, so I appreciate that. And if you ever have any questions, you have my email address. Hopefully, just email me. I'm always available. for people that have taken my classes. If you have any questions or if you get stuck on something, I respond to my emails pretty quickly, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye. And as soon as I get the video ready to go, I will send you an email. I also do a class evaluation, so you might be seeing that come through in the next week or so. And that really helps me to improve the classes. All right, everybody. Thanks so much, and have fun making your book. All right, we'll see you later.